Hi guys, it's me, Karen. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. I'm bouncing back a little bit. Been doing some PT on my neck and trying to take it a little bit easy. Just got through the Hurricane Idalia, I believe its name was. It was a little concerning early on, as it was marked to kind of pose a pretty big threat to the Tampa Bay area, but thankfully it did a little wobble there later on and moved further west and then took a right towards our, they call it the Big Bend area up by the Panhandle, or that niche where it turns. Anyway, feeling grateful. So I just wanted to bring this little bit of information I had. Went to a local gem show yesterday. Evidently, these are the promoters. I tried to find some detailed information on them, but it looks like they also have a Facebook page. I think they mostly do Florida gem shows, and they come around here once a year. They're around locally, like there's probably one next week in Orlando or whatever, but in the Tampa Bay area they come, I think, once a year, and it's a great little show. They have vendors from all over the state, and actually probably the whole southeast of the U.S., because I know I talked to several vendors that were out of the state of Florida. Anyway, they were here in St. Petersburg, which is just 20 minutes down the road from me, and wanted to share my haul, I guess. But also I wanted to share with you guys, I hadn't mentioned, this is the little shop I've been in since last September. I can't believe it's been almost a year. It's a cool little, very eclectic gift shop. Out more towards the beach, even though it says it's Largo. It's very close to the barrier islands, so it gets some nice traffic from those folks. And it's reminds me of an old like the head shops we used to go to, or I used to go to when I was younger. Yes, I'm showing my age, but I love the little card. So that's the Emporium. And then just last week I got into a new shop right up the road in a different little town, but we have a bunch of little towns near me. I'm in Seminole, Florida, that borders Largo. But this gal is another kind of eclectic shop called the Lil Hippie. So they're right in the same vein, and just got in there last week, so I'm excited. I'm actually making another delivery to her tomorrow, actually, of some moonstone pieces that she loved and wanted to carry. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, so it's a really cool little shop. Again, very hippie vibe, of course, with its name. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Okie doke, getting on to this. The main focus, and I get very focused in case you guys didn't know, but I went to mainly get some black kyanite fans, they're called, because my Facebook stone dealer hasn't had any, so I knew I had to go out on the hunt. And what I looked for on Etsy, they were just a little bit too much, I thought. But so when I went into the show, I was really focused and went kind of in a pattern, just focused on finding these. And then once I did that, I knew I could then go and just browse and see what was calling me. So I did find one about halfway through, a vendor, and believe it or not, they charged me $11 for one. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, man, that's really steep. But that's the reason I came here. And so I only bought two, thinking I'm going to have to charge quite a bit in my retail sale to recoup my money back. So that's unfortunate. I don't like to do that. I try to keep my prices real reasonable. But these are to make those pendants that replicate a witch's broom. They're really cool. I mean, and I'll probably do a little demo on them. You wire wrap, I'm going to use copper, probably a 14 gauge, and you just wire wrap this, and then you can decorate it, all this with beads and stuff, and it looks so cute. They're pretty big, a statement piece, especially these that are larger, but people dig them, especially at Halloween. So I bought these, and then I decided, okay, I'll keep my eye out, but I can start to browse, because at least I got two. The vendor right behind them, a little gentleman from another town about an hour north of me, Brooksville, elderly gentleman. I asked him, just thinking there wasn't going to be anybody else, because I had already asked a half a dozen of the vendors if they had them, and nobody even seemed to know where to direct me to. But I turned to him and said I was on a hunt, and he's like, oh yeah, I got a bin over there. And I went over there, and he had a whole bin marked at $2 a piece. I'm like, you're kidding me. So though they're not quite as black as this vendor's, I'm like, who cares? Plus, I can wash them. They obviously still have some sand on them or whatever. So I'm going to clean them up a little bit. But $2? I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're not that much smaller. And I wanted smaller pieces. These were a little bit too big for me. But check them out. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. And so these are going to be earmarked for Halloween. And I've looked at some other designs, and some people aren't even using like the broomstick portion of making the broom. They're just wrapping a bale around it and then some decorative. Some are soft soldering, and I can do that too. But isn't that crazy? So I bought 10 pieces of black kyanite from this gentleman. Look at these. These are like perfect for a smaller pendant. I know some people, they really like these, but they're so big that they don't buy them. And I think the smaller ones might actually sell better. And then I don't have to charge as much either. So I'm happy about that. I may not even use these big ones. But yeah, so I bought 10. So at $2, that's 20 for 10. And here I bought, this was $22 for 2. That's just nuts to me. So the point I'm making is, if you go to a big show like that, go do a run through first, and especially if you're on the hunt for specific items, and see what everybody has. It's nice to have what you want in your mind, and I have in the past written them down so I wouldn't forget. And do a run through first so that you're not getting taken advantage of. I did return to this booth and advise them of this purchase, giving them the opportunity to offer me a refund. I did not ask for one, because I don't know, I just feel like that's their karma. They did not offer me a refund, so I just said, I just wanted to let you guys know, and moved on. So there's a lesson, right? I snatched them up because I was already gone halfway through the show and wanted to get on with browsing. And so I got ahead of myself. So hard lesson learned. But man, I've got enough kyanite for probably the next 2 Halloweens, because I don't really get into themed jewelry so much. I don't do like special occasion. I might do 1 or 2 pieces, but it stresses me out for whatever reason to try and do certain themed items. Anyway, there's the kyanite. And then I spotted these, which I have had my eye on anyway. and they were in kind of off by themselves. So I couldn't really see what they were, and they were not marked. But I'm eyeing them like, oh man, what are those? And so I had to call the vendor's attention and ask them to come over. You can see they're translucent. And yes, even though I have this lavender background, this is a white background and even shows more how purple they are. So these are, and I was so excited. I knew I had to have at least one, and I knew they'd be a little bit more expensive. They're a purple moss agate. And I love moss agate in general, but the purple is really cool. This one almost reminds me of a mountainside with the clouds. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. And they averaged, oh, I don't know, I think they gave them to me for an average of about $7 or so a cab, which I never spend that much money, or I'll say hardly ever. Because again, it's just that I then have to mark my pieces up to reflect, my expenses, and I try to keep things reasonable. Anyway, then I spotted these. I guess it was a purple day yesterday, because look at these. Oh my goodness. Had no idea what they were, but they're called a purple opal. Wow. And you see they're marked for $10 a piece, but these were in a clearance tray. I think he had about 4 or 5 clearance trays, because I'm a bargain shopper. I'm always on the hunt. But aren't they just beautiful? And so I think the blue dots, he had them marked down. Let's see, there was 2 blue dots. These were ended up being $6 a piece, marked down from 10 and 14. So I paid $6 a piece for these. Aren't they beautiful? And then these were marked down to 4. These were the teal. He had them marked as green, but they look aqua or turquoise to me. But aren't they darling? I just love them. I fell in love. And I have been seeing these lately too, wondering why my local Facebook guy hasn't gotten any of these. But aren't they lovely? I'm excited. So yeah, I'm going to probably wire wrap one, maybe soft solder another, and definitely going to do a sterling or a copper in one of these. But just love them. So that was my other find in the bargain tray. And then I have seen this stone called a Tiffany stone. I think it's from Nevada. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's blue, purples, grays, white, some black. But these were also clearance. So I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. I already took the tag off this because this first one I'm going to work with. And so they look much cooler in person. And these are, I'll say, a lower caliber of the Tiffany, because I couldn't touch a Tiffany stone otherwise. I can't pay top dollar. But there's some translucency in a couple of them. Really dig that one. And let's see, I already have an idea for that. Let's see, do I have it out? I do, and I've already done the bezel part. I haven't pickled it, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. With this cool beaded wire around it, I think it'll be beautiful. Won't it be cute? If I can pull it off, I can do it, I can do it. So I'm excited to do that. And then there was a gal there. She's from Riverview, which is around Bradenton. So it's pretty south, maybe an hour south of me. Actually, it's kind of southeast. And she's a lapidary artist, Janice. And you could go check her stuff out. But she goes to one of our local barrier islands called Honeymoon Island. And she picks up these rocks that have been tumbled for gosh knows how long. Thousands, millions of years or whatever. And they just look like a big rock, of course. And I mean, she had one setting out, and I should have printed that picture. Because she had a cool display of some raw rocks and then a slab of it. Basically, it's just a mishmash of shells and, limestone or whatever else. But she does her own cutting and her cabbing, and some of these pieces were amazing. I mean, you would never know they were shells. And she had some very cool shapes like this kind of stuff. This was really the only oval. And I'm telling you, her and I chatted for quite a bit, and I finally had to, I think, pound it in her head that I can't afford not one of your stones as much as I'd love to. I'm also in retail, and I'd have to charge a couple $100 for a necklace if I bought one of your cabs, because I think that the cheapest cab she had, which was this shell, but in a different shape, like a cool shape like this, was almost $40 for one stone. I'm like, no way. I can't. But so we were talking about Honeymoon Island and this and that. And again, I was complimenting her like crazy because she really is a fabulous lapidary artist. But I said, man, that one I could probably afford. How much is that? And I forget what she said. And I'm like, well, okay, since then I can say I have one of your cabs. She said, I'll give it to you for $10. And I'm like, okay, yay. So now I can say I have a Janice Wojcik cabochon. Beach stone cabochons. Go have a look. You'll be blown away. They're stunning. So I'm going to do probably a hard soldering job for my sister-in-law, who lives very near Honeymoon Island, right over the bridge in Dunedin. But she's a huge fan of Honeymoon Island, and actually her and my brother camped out there, and I mean for months. They camped out there when they were, having house renovations done a few years ago, and they volunteered and all kinds of stuff. So they're real involved with their. So she'll be thrilled to have this. I know she will. Anyway, that was my gemstone haul. But then I always wait till the end to go find the bead guys, because I'm not collecting that many beads anymore. I have a gazillion of them, and I rarely do beading. Earrings, bracelets. I do occasionally. As you guys can see, I have a few tutorials on that stuff, but typically I don't. If anything, it's for embellishments or to maybe make a nice necklace to go with one of my pendants. But so I stopped in this one that I always get stuff from, and man, their prices were astronomical. I mean, I think I looked at a labradorite one. It might have been a faceted stone, not anything super fancy, but it was over $100 for a strand of beads. Did you catch that? Over 100. I think it was $128. So I'm like, oh, choking. So I moved down the line looking at less expensive stuff. There's no way. And so finally one of the helpers, salespeople asked me, I said, well, I was looking, actually do need some Amazonite. I'm getting low on my Amazonite beads. And again, I think these were marked, well, these for sure were, I want to say $30-something for one strand. That's just unreal. This is a cool little shape, but I'm like, yeah, that's nice, but man, I can't hardly afford your stuff. And she's like, well, I'll sell it to you for $8. And literally this only happened because they had just announced wrap up your last purchases. It was about 5 till 5 and they were getting ready to close, and it was the first day, and I'm sure they were all exhausted. So they just wanted to help me get out of there. So she said $8. And then I'm like, okay, do you got any? She's like, here's some rounds. I'm like, perfect, 6mm rounds. How much? She said $8. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, got any 8mm? And these were, I like these better. These are a matte finish, and these are a polished finish. You can certainly tell the difference. And I wish I had asked for a polished. Anyway, I got these 3 strands for $8 a piece, but that to me is ridiculous. $24 for 3 strands of beads. Wow. Never in my life probably have I spent that much money on beads. But it is what it is, and I know they're great quality. Usually all the beads, or most of the beads I now currently have in my stash, have probably been from, probably just the local crafts shows. So you know they're all coming from China probably. But anyway, so then I'm heading back. I spotted my friend who came super late. In fact, I figured she wasn't coming at all. So I went to see her, and as I was passing by the guy that I got the kyanite from, I hadn't gone on that side of his booth, and I noticed he had all these clearance boxes with beads in them, unusual shapes, yay. And they were marked at, I think, $2. Again, yeah, I think they were $2. And so he didn't even know the names of them. And this one bin had all these cool, like a lime green, and these are just drilled like nuggets. They're pretty big, you can see. Over an inch, most of them. And he didn't remember the name. These are rectangle. I think they're the same stone. Very cool. $2. These little squares, I thought, were cute. Same stone. And then these, I don't know what they'd call these. Oh, I just noticed that one's broken, but that's okay. I don't even like that color. But $2. I'm like, he's like, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I got them from Fire Mountain Gems, which is not a cheap vendor. I'm sure y'all have heard of them. So he said they were like clearance. He got them like you buy bulk or whatever, and so that's why he had so many. And then I spotted these. I think these are, looking under with my magnifying glass, actually think these might be prehnite. But again, he couldn't remember. I don't think they're anything. They're not Amazonite. At first I thought maybe they were, if I got that lucky, maybe an aquamarine, but that's unusual. So under my magnifying glass, I could see some inclusions in here. So I think they're prehnite. But they're cute, aren't they, for embellishments? So $2. So I spent $2, $4, $6, $8, $10. I spent $20 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strands of beads, and 8 times 3, $25 on 2 strands. Again, that's crazy. But after I got home, I'm like, I think that serpentine is what the stone is. And so I pulled out my cabochon and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what they are. So that's amazing. How cool is that? Because serpentine isn't all that cheap. And how cool is that? What can I do with that? Right? So anyway, I think that's my haul. I think I did pretty good. Because my Facebook seller, gemstone seller, they haven't been having a whole lot of shows. I think they've been having some problems with getting their product from overseas or whatever. And so, as you know, I haven't had an unboxing in a while, but I hope to get something in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's my haul, and I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did, but man, it kicked my butt. I was down there for about, let's see, I went down there after I had physical therapy, so I got down there about 2:30 and stayed till 5. So yeah, that's a long day for me, and my neck was killing me. And then, of course, I went to dinner with my girlfriend, but we had some Thai food, which I hadn't had in a long time, and we got to catch up. And they were getting ready for a huge block party downtown St. Pete, the first one since they closed it for the summer, because it's just too hot down here to do anything in the summer. Even the beach has been terrible. People have been saying the water temperature is like taking a bath, so that's not refreshing. So yeah, crazy. But anyway, so it was kind of busy, but I had a great time, and I'm excited to have some new product. I always get excited when I have new product. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed seeing this. This is coming up next. Woo-hoo. Okay, thanks for looking. Talk to you guys soon. Bye. Have a happy Labor Day. Stay safe out there.